Hello and welcome back to Citizen Speak. My name is Garrett Martin. Thank you so much for listening tonight. So, let me start off by saying this. Donald Trump should not be president. I understand, and most of the media isn't calling him out for what he really is. I understand what Donald Trump really is. Donald Trump is a businessman. And I don't mean that in a good way. I mean that he is doing everything that he possibly can to put him in a position for success. And he's doing so as a Republican. Because he couldn't win as a Democrat. He couldn't win as an independent. But he's running as a Republican and he's winning as a Republican. This guy has 739 delegates that he's won so far. Most of the states have won. He only needs over 1,200 to get the nomination. He's almost there, folks. And I cannot believe it that the Republican voters... Actually, you know what? No, I can believe it. That the Republican voters have backed somebody as crazy and off the wall as Donald Trump. This is exactly what we got when we allowed the Tea Party to rise, when we had Sarah Palin running as a vice president. Are you kidding me, Republican voters? They almost voted her and John McCain into office. But thankfully, Barack Obama had beat them, and we didn't get some crazy outcome like McCain and Palin. But here we are again, 8 years later, faced with yet another crazy possibility. Actually, two crazy possibilities. We have the crazy possibility of Donald Trump becoming president, or we have the crazy possibility of Ted Cruz becoming president. Two people who have off-the-wall ideas, but they resonate so dang strong with the Republicans. So dang strong. So, we have Trump. And let's stick on him, because this episode, all about Trump. All about him. He's not really a Republican. I hope that you know that. All of his comments in the past, from 2008 and before, all of them have pointed to where he's actually more of a Democrat. Now, yes, he donates to Republicans here and there as well. But most rich people do, especially when they control most of the government right now. But he's donated to Hillary Clinton many times. He endorsed Hillary Clinton for president back in 2008. He said that she would make a great president. A great president. What does Donald Trump say that he would be as a president? Oh, he'd be great. He'd be wonderful. He'd be terrific. It's the exact same things about Hillary Clinton. Why on earth would a Republican ever back up Hillary Clinton? Because they're not really a Republican, that's why. But here's the thing. Everything that Donald Trump has done so far, and just this primary alone, and just running for the nomination, everything that he's done has been calculated. Absolutely everything. You know, he got a little bit of support, not support, but media coverage for when he announced his running for president. But the media really didn't care up until that soundbite where he called all the Mexicans rapists and murderers. Yeah, some guy who's running for president, who's running for the nomination of a major party in our country, called an entire group of people rapists and murderers. Not with any exception. They're all flat out rapists and murderers to Trump. Now, since he's kind of backed away from that, but when he needs to, he hammers down on that again. Oh, well, all the Muslims, they hate us. Mr. Trump, did you really mean all Muslims? I mean a heck of a lot of them. He's against all the Muslims, the blacks, the Mexicans, everybody that the Republican base despises. I mean, yeah, sure, there's these people in the party as well, but, I mean, they don't get any traction. So, he says the exact same things that we have the Republican trolls on message boards or in comment sections on YouTube or wherever they're coming out of their bridge to communicate with the outside public. We have him saying the exact same rhetoric that they do. He says the exact same rhetoric that people like Bill O'Reilly or Sean Hannity or even Rush Limbaugh spew out every day on their shows. It's always, oh, it's everybody else's fault but ours. You know, if we just allow the rich white men to run the country again, we're going to be great. We're going to be wonderful and fantastic. But as long as we have these people not bowing their heads, that's why we have our problems. If we just get them to bow their heads for a little while, we can get things back on track. But here's what we know for sure. People are angry and people are upset. You know, Americans feel that they're lied to by every politician. And that's why Trump is doing so well. Heck, it's the same reason why Mitt Romney did so well and why he was almost president. Is because people go, oh, well, I don't want another politician. I don't want anybody who actually knows how to, you know, make policies and laws and deal with leaders of other countries. I don't want that. No, I don't want that at all. What I want is somebody who has started a business, who has ran businesses into the ground, who has kept workers down on minimum wage for as long as possible and fought endlessly to keep minimum wage exactly where it is, even tried to get rid of it. That's what the Republicans are wanting. And that's why Donald Trump and Mitt Romney have done so well. But, you know, I get it. You know, you have people who are angry and upset, and they're looking for answers. They're looking for somebody who is going to speak their mind the way that they are thinking. But they just want somebody to say it from the top of a mountain. But in the words of Ron Burgundy, all Donald Trump has is a camera and a news crew. And he's received millions of dollars so far and free media coverage just by saying off-the-wall things or having people on his staff abuse reporters or African Americans. He incites violence at his rallies. And yeah, there's people who say, no, he doesn't do that. Oh, except for when there's a protester and he goes, man, I'd really like to punch that guy in the face, but I can't do it. Oh, no, I can't do it. I'm going to try to stay away from saying that he's like Hitler. I mean, a lot of people are jumping on that bandwagon, and there's a case to be made. But what he does incite violence. At his rallies, every 4 minutes on average, somebody is kicked out. Somebody is booted every 4 minutes now at a Donald Trump rally. I'm sorry, I thought that people had the right to protest. I thought that we had the right to free speech. But yet we have the police officers and we have Trump security goons kicking people out. No, I get it. I completely get it. You know, the guy who rushed the stage at Donald Trump. I get that. You know, he's kicked out, obviously. But people who are just standing there at the back of the room or in the crowd in the middle to the back say, no, well, Trump is evil and awful. You know, we shouldn't vote for him. They get beaten up and they get thrown out because Donald Trump has spewed so much hatred and so much anger that his supporters now carry that with them wherever they go. Like it or not, this is who the Republicans have leading their primary, running for their nomination. With 739 delegates, you have some ignorant buffoon. I'm sorry, he's not ignorant. Some turd who is radicalizing people who are already, they've got that spark, their tinder is smoldering. And he's blowing on it with his dragon's breath, getting people so hyped up and so radicalized that we get this. We get somebody who had hardly even read any of the Bible, gets up and say, oh no, I love the Bible. And then people go, oh yeah, he does love the Bible. Well, what's your favorite verse? That's a personal thing. They're like, yeah, that is a personal thing. No. This is the time to ask your candidate questions. And that's what a lot of people are afraid to do. You watch any of the interviews or any of the debates with Donald Trump. Yeah, there's one in like 50 questions that's hard for him. And the media has dropped the ball on this. I tell you what, if you had somebody like Cenk Uygur on the Young Turks interview Donald Trump, man, that would be two mooses going at it head to head, locking their antlers. But everybody's afraid of Donald Trump. Everybody is afraid to question him because they understand that there's a very real possibility that he could become the nominee. And everybody's bowing their heads to him. Are you kidding me? We even have CNN and MSNBC give Donald Trump more time. They give him more time than Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton. News stories all the time about him. How many news stories do you think you hear about Bernie Sanders on CNN compared to Donald Trump? Not many. Not many. But what we'll see if he gets the nomination, frontrunner of the GOP party, if Trump gets the nomination, we will witness the biggest flip-flop in political history. Going from saying that, oh, well, all the Mexicans are rapists and murderers. All of the Muslims are bad and out to get us. They're scary. We'll see him start to go, oh, no, I don't care about that. You know, what we really need to do is increase these trade deals. We need to do things that are making me more money. I don't care about any of this other stuff that you guys wanted me to talk about. It doesn't matter. Be the biggest political flip-flop in U.S. history. But you know, I don't blame Trump, honestly, for saying what he says. You know, he's a businessman. He's saying what he is saying so that way he's getting votes. So that way people wear his stupid t-shirts with the stupid slogan, "Make America Great Again." You ask those people, well, what does Donald Trump say to make America great again? Well, I don't know. He just says he's going to do it. Or, oh, no, he's going to build a wall and he's going to keep out the criminals. There's so much more that people need to ask and people need to press Donald Trump for. It's just absolutely ridiculous that we have a media that's not pressing him. We have a candidate who has said hardly anything on his policies, and people still back it and believe it. Okay, so let's just take a second and talk about what he has actually said. One of the largest things is that he wants us to spy on Muslims. And a lot of people are outraged at this. But you know who else also said that they want to spy on Muslims? Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz even said that he wants to block all Muslims coming in, unless they're Christians. And if they're from another country and they're Christian, they're free to come in. But if they're Muslims, oh golly, can't let them in. Donald Trump and Ted Cruz agree very much on this. They also agree that we need to monitor the Muslims. We need to make sure that they're under lock and key. That Big Brother keeps a huge eye on them. And he also wants to bring back torture, like waterboarding. There's a really great video of the late Christopher Hitchens. A lot of people don't like him. I understand that. But there was a challenge or a call to see who would actually do it. And it was done by ex-CIA members, I believe it was, and Christopher Hitchens gets waterboarded. And he says it was one of the most horrible things that he's ever had gone through in his life. Now, there was other people like Bill O'Reilly who were asked to do this challenge, and they didn't. But it simulates drowning, and in some cases during this torture method, people actually do drown. They lay you on an inclined board with your head pointed down, your face up on your back. They drape a cloth or your hood is bagged, your head is bagged, and they pour water on you. And it basically forces you to give them information. But what we have found is that doing this method of interrogation, torture, makes people just say whatever you want them to say. Oh, are you guilty of this? Yes, I'm guilty of this. Just please stop this and let me live, is basically what happens. Trump wants to bring this back. But we have members of the CIA, ex-members of the CIA. We have members of the military who are shouting almost from rooftops, we cannot bring this back. Because they know firsthand how awful and horrible this really is. But it rings so hard for the Republicans. It gets them so gosh dang excited that he says that he wants to bring back torture. And he wants to bring it back in the cruelest manners possible. They love it. They eat it up. But these are people who don't get out of the house, or people who post on Facebook pictures of 9/11 without understanding how 9/11 had occurred and the events that had led up to it, saying, oh, well, this is why I don't care how we interrogate terrorists. Well, anybody that we pick up could be a terrorist. So we treat everybody as a terrorist in these situations. So everybody needs to get waterboarded? Even if it's just some guy that we wrongly picked up, maybe he has nothing to do with it. So we're willing to become more barbaric as a society. That's what I've gathered so far with Trump's rallying calls to make people so polarized and so aggressive. It's saddening to see. And part of me hopes that it's not actually going to catch wind. But remember, we are also the same country that 8 years ago had almost voted in John McCain and Sarah Palin. John McCain, very in favor of war, loves war, makes money off of war. And Sarah Palin, the bat-crazy woman of the Tea Party, with her failed shows, joining OAN, the horrible little polarized network, we almost elected them into office. And now 8 years later, the media has failed and has created an opportunity for somebody like Trump to be exactly what he wants to be, a winner, by saying the most horrible things. But like I said, I think that Trump will create the biggest flip-flop in history if he gets the nomination. He may not do it up until Election Day. But mark my words, if he goes all the way to the general election, all of this stuff that he says about the Mexicans being rapists and murderers, that Muslims are all evil and out to get us and they hate us, all of this talk will just be by the wayside. You won't ever hear from it again until it's time for him to run for office again. So here's what we have. We have Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, who stand a really strong chance at winning the primary for the Republicans. John Kasich, he's in it. He has a very low chance of getting the nomination. It's only in a brokered convention that he even stands a chance. But we have two people who are so radical, they would change the face of this nation forever. And we have an entire sect of voters who are okay with this, who are voting and coming out in droves to get these guys elected. There's more people voting this time than voted for Romney or voted during the 2014 primaries. 2012 primaries, sorry. There's more people on the Republican side voting than 2012 and 2008. I mean, we have this huge polarized society and nobody cares really. So I'm talking to you now, the actual listener. What do you want for your country? What do you want for this world? Do Do you want somebody who stands up there and bashes on other people? I mean, he could be of a different background and bash on you. Do you want somebody who wants to make it easier for criminals to get guns? Do you want somebody who's going to make more radicals in this world? Somebody who's going to polarize this country more and more than it already is? I mean, over the past 20 years, our media has done an amazing job of polarizing people simply for profit. Instead of actually doing their job and reporting the news, they polarize the country. So what do you want? What do you think this country needs? Do you think that we need Donald Trump? I'd love to hear from you. If you honestly support Donald Trump, I would love to hear from you. Whether you think that I'm a fool or you just want to make points about Donald Trump, I want to hear from you. I want to know what you have to say. But if you don't support Donald Trump, what you need to do is go out there, and if you're a Republican, you need to vote in your primaries. There's still states coming up. There's still plenty of opportunity to vote and to change the course of the election. Trump doesn't have the nomination yet. So if your candidate isn't winning, you haven't lost yet. But here's the other thing. If you're a Republican, and let's say Trump does go on to win the general election, just because your candidate, not your candidate, but just because your party wins, doesn't mean that you win. Policies are going to change radically depending on any of the current candidates if they were to get the presidency. So what do you want? I want to hear from you. I want to hear where you think this country needs to go. If you think that Trump has the best ideas to move us forward, let me know why. If you think that, let's say, Bernie Sanders has better ideas and he can move the country forward, let me know. I want to hear why. Or Hillary Clinton or even John Kasich. If you think that they can move this country forward, I want to know. But it just boggles my mind that we have so many people who are so low informed, who don't go out and read the media on both sides of the aisle, who read Fox and then CNN or MSNBC, or who don't spend time to actually watch the debates on both sides and then go fact check once in a while. Especially in this day and age, we have information at our fingertips. Go out there and do some. It boggles my mind and it saddens me that we have people who are allowing Donald Trump to win. And part of me wants Donald Trump to win the GOP primary, to get the election or nomination, I should say, from the Republicans. Part of me really wants that, because I don't think that Trump is really who he says he is. I don't think that Trump is really this madman who's trying to watch the world burn, a Joker type of person. I don't think so. And I would love to see all of the Republicans put so much faith in Donald Trump, and then just to watch everything that they say they're for, all this hate speech that Trump is spewing, just to blow up in their face. Part of me really wants to see that. But then the other part of me thinks, maybe this is real from Donald Trump. Maybe he actually is this divisive. Maybe he actually is this dangerous. But I'm willing to take a chance, not for him to be president, but for him to be the nominee for the Republicans. Man, I would love to see that. Just to watch everything that the Republicans are saying blow up in their face. And then for people who have been saying for so long that they're against Trump and they'd never vote for Trump, to then turn around and gleefully support Trump. I would love to see that. But what I really would love to see are your comments and your questions and your feedback. So find me on Twitter at CITZSpeak. That's at SitSpeak. I'll answer just about everybody, as long as you're respectful. Even if you're not, I'll probably still answer you. So find me on Twitter at CITZSpeak. You can find my videos, recordings on YouTube or Spreaker or Stitcher. Wherever you find me, leave me a comment. Let me know that you like it or don't like it. Hey, I'm here for you, man. All right, thank you all so much for listening. Again, my name is Garrett Martin. You have a wonderful rest of the day.